on.
6:33, I'm going to reconvene the meeting. And can I take a motion to, if we're going to seal the
I
minutes?
make a motion that we seal the minutes of the session 1 non-public due to reputation.
Second.
Roll call vote. Poirier votes yes.
Mason, yes.
Farnum, yes.
Streeter, yes.
So be it. First on the agenda, we're going to talk to the road agent and the police chief to discuss the traffic and road regulation policy. You guys, I'm sure, have reviewed it.
We did.
Comments,
I have mine.
recommended changes.
I went through and highlighted mine.
Yeah, I mean, I made 10 marks on mine. I guess the first thing, camping on public property, seems specific to just trailer vehicles or motorized vehicles. I mean, I've always kind of enforced not even tent camping on public, town property. So I don't know if there's any additional wording there or if that's what you want to enforce or not.
Well, I didn't know the terminology public. It doesn't say town, it says public. So I'm not sure it shouldn't change to town versus public property.
It says pub or other public property of the town of Tamworth.
Yeah, but I mean, just camping on town property in the title there
Instead
instead
of
of
public
public.
properties, but.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because it does pertain to town, a Tamworth property, and I agree with you, it should be any camping, not just motor vehicle camping.
Yeah, and the only thing I can think on an exception, if you were gonna, was any of the conservation lands. I don't know how that's treated or not.
I don't think they camp on conservation, do they?
Well, it would depend on the actual conservation easement that was agreed upon, and they allow it.
Well, you could say on any town property without notification of proper, again, that would help us if we had an event type thing, or,
Well,
because then we
In
could
the
send it
works.
to the we could
It's
send it to
not-
conservation and
It's not something we
stuff.
run into a lot. I mean,
right.
we do get asked, and I
So
plainly
no
state
camping on
there's no
town
camping on town property. So,
I just leave it at that,
Um,
unless they have permission, special permission through
I mean, this is
conservation.
traffic and road regulation policy, so
I
I mean,
know.
you
I know,
gotta
I-
sort of stick to a motorized
yeah,
contraption.
I know. It's kind of odd and out
We'll
of
get off
place,
in the
but,
weeds with the other, I'm afraid.
The Main Street diagonal parking, I don't think it's a diagonal parking out there.
I had a question up on number 104, the U-turns.
Yeah,
There's
I
no U-turns in town road.
kind of had a big question mark
Don't
on
we,
that. I mean,
don't we do that right down here?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily U-turn if you're going through the parking lot.
Well, no, you're going around the telephone pole and coming right back out, that's a U-turn.
Yeah.
So I question why we even have that.
I would personally, I mean, we're pretty rural roads for the most part. Somebody's turn around, you turn around, so.
Be lucky if you can do a U-turn, you generally have to do.
Three-point- a three-point
most of
turn.
the- Most of the town roads, you're not gonna.
So I was just saying, you guys have a problem if we get rid of it?
I don't know, I had a question mark by it, so I'm fine with striking it.
Because you know, whatever we change has to go to a public hearing anyway.
Oh, striking.
And yeah, I had the question of the diagonal parking.
I took that as the old building that was here and what was maybe set up. I can't remember
No, this
now.
building was here when this was done.
Well, it's not diagonal.
It's head-in parking, is what it is.
Yeah,
It's not diagonal parking. Because you'd lose
It's a matter of
space.
wording there, I don't.
Well-
I can just change the wording.
Well, no, I had a question regarding the whole title there, because it says restricted parking streets. We also park at the Lyceum, we also park at the library, we also park at the other store, and none of those are mentioned in here. Only the town office.
Well, the question has always been, what's town road, what is it?
Yeah.
Who owns the parking next to the church in front of the Remick Park?
Yeah.
Town, I
The
believe.
town, I just always took it as the town's.
That goes with Remick Park.
Yeah.
So I think we just need to address parking in town.
Yeah, I mean,
That
this
it
is
has
really
to
the
be out
only-
of traffic's way, because some people park, like in the library, some days you can go in and people are parked, pulled in, and other days they're parked parallel.
Right, the library should be spelled out probably that it's parallel to the curving.
instead of head in.
instead of perpendicular. Yeah.
That will limit their parking severely, because a lot of people, you mean straight in that narrow
I think
area.
it's just the handicap spots or whatever, like, yeah.
Yeah, it's past the law.
Should only be parallel to the curb,
Alright.
but, because anything else is an obstruction.
But then you're gonna
right
be
away.
trying to do parallel to the curb between the Lyceum and their walkway.
Right,
You're gonna
that's,
lose 3 spaces that way.
that's what I said. It's sort of,
It's
Yeah, I mean,
at the handicapped area.
Yeah,
At the library trustee meeting the other night, they were questioning, does the library have one spot and the Lyceum, or what was the Lyceum have one spot? Is it that whole area in between? And they wondered if there was some way,
handicapped.
right, but not everybody knows, you know, that that's all handicap. If there was something that was on the road,
It
that
says
showed
handicapped
people.
this way, so you don't know if everything in that, because they park 3 cars there. Is all that handicapped, or is it just, where's the handicap start and end over there?
First of all, I don't think you can even enforce, if you go to the handicap, you can't even enforce it unless it's marked handicap, and it's gotta be on the ground marked
Right.
handicap, and it's
But
gotta have
there-
the big blue wheelchair handicap, so you gotta go, so you can say handicap all you want, as far as enforcing that and letting it stick in court is gonna be 2 different
That's
things.
right. You'd almost be better not to have the sign there.
Well, I mean, it's good that it allows people to do that,
Well, it
but,
makes people think, you know,
Yes.
hey, maybe I'll leave this space
Leave
for
that one
somebody
open,
that's
so
handicapped.
somebody does pull
But
out.
see, it's got an arrow pointing to the side, to the entrance, so that's what people have been questioning. Is it that one spot where the sign is, or is it 3 spots? Because the arrow points all the way to the walkway.
See it out there.
So we need to work on that paragraph. I don't know how we're gonna do it. Maybe you guys can come up with something, and bring it back to us.
well, I mean, what you spell out here doesn't necessarily gonna translate to fixing any problem, because.
No,
people
I
have
know
to-
that.
You know what I mean, like, unless you're gonna go out there and actually paint lines and designate, you know,
Well,
areas.
that
then
was
that's-
Dave Little's comment, is there's no place you can park in town, because there are no lines.
Yeah.
Because it says park within the lines.
Well, and he also said, he also said the only place that's recorded as parking is in front of the town office, which doesn't happen. So maybe you guys can, I mean, you can come up with something that, you know, safety parking. I wouldn't address the handicap, I would let that sort of,
Get a sign without an arrow, so it would just be that one spot.
well, then you still have to paint the ground.
Right, but I mean,
Right, it would,
somebody would keep it open maybe,
you talking about the sign out front here?
right here.
across the
Across the
street.
street on the
Across the
Lyceum.
street, I'm
Right.
not,
No,
not,
this one's
No,
here.
this
One of the
one's
Lyceum.
confusing too, it's just telling you to park
Right.
in the back
the 2
handicap.
spots out here, which are accessible to the ramp.
I mean, if I was gonna do anything, I'd move that sign on the side of the building, so it's, the arrow's pointing as you're driving this way. Because it's very confusing, people always say, it looks like if you
That's
pull in
one
it,
spot.
that that's a handicap
Oh,
spot.
right
Oh,
here.
right,
Yeah,
right in
yeah.
front of the building, right.
That's very confusing.
Plus it goes on to paragraph A that says there's no parking in town traveled portions of roadways unless in the designated parking areas, and we don't have
Yeah.
designated parking areas, so we need to clean that paragraph up deeply. I don't care how you guys do it, but if you wanna come up with something together that you think could be enforceable if somebody's parked in the middle of the road or something.
We don't have the, no parking on bridge. Yeah, do we?
No,
Well, is the bridge considered all travel portion? No parking in travel way, so.
but that whole section needs to be cleaned up somehow, because we've got people parking.
Yeah.
Because we have the drop off at the farmer's market too, that's in the town roadway,
Right.
where they can pick up and drop off there, and
And they have a handicap spot up there.
Right.
so that whole area needs to be removed.
I mean, the thing that came up to me was parking in front of the library, people parking, pulling in, blocking the lane. That's what was brought up to me as an issue. And the other issue is, I mean, people are not always considerate of the flow of traffic in the village. I don't know where else we really have issues other than here in the village. I mean, I don't think there's anything in Chicago Village as far as traffic.
Because they're all marked.
That's right, they're all
The
painted.
easiest solution, but it's never gonna happen, is to mark them. to mark, people know that I park head in or I park parallel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without any markings,
Right,
you're not giving any guidance whatsoever.
Right,
right, and you can put signs up, they're not gonna
Yeah,
have the signs,
no.
the markings are what's gonna tell
Right.
it.
So what are the odds of us painting parking spaces
well, we
with
don't
it?
even do it out back here.
Huh?
We don't even do it out back
No.
here, and do we wanna spend that kind of money every year to put down new
No.
lines, cause they get plowed up,
No, and you don't, and
you know?
the thing is too, that what always cracks me up is you come down on the village, this whole village will be jammed with cars, the people that work at the stores, and nobody's parked up here,
Mhm.
and they don't even walk down. That's frustrating for me, especially during like snow removal, that it's just,
So, I mean, how do we address that portion of it, I guess is the question. How do we address what the problem is, not just try and make a blanket policy that hits everything?
Well, that's what it's not just snow removal though, you get a truck now, the trucks making deliveries to Lyceum and stuff, they can't get in anywhere because everything's either, I
They
mean,
park it, they pull in our driveway right here.
well, they
They
park,
unload.
but even at the little store and stuff, some people park out, some people park parallel, so you got a parallel and out person parking, and it's like,
Then you get the ones that are parked facing the flow of traffic.
right, so at least if you say park on one side of the road, parallel or face in or something, it might give us a little something without marking it up. But if we can work on that paragraph, 'cause
And it might be good to draw a diagram of the area and try to look at it and lay it out from that perspective, I mean, but as Dan said, you're not gonna get any compliance with it unless you put lines up.
lines down.
On Saturday afternoon, they get really creative parking when there's, a matinee at the Barnstormers. They really,
Yeah,
they
well,
stretch the
and they're
parking
congregating in
rules.
the roadway and.
Right.
well, that was my other highlight down here.
Goes back to that same old theory.
So if you
You
guys
try
are,
to put 20 pounds of crap in a 10-pound bag, it's not
if you
gonna
guys,
happen.
if you two can write something up that you feel comfortable with, no matter what we change, it ends up going to a public hearing for approval anyway, but at least if we say park parallel, all the way up or something.
I mean, part of the problem that you run into is, I'm not gonna paint lines, the whole, part of the whole effect here is the Main Street experience,
Right.
like, that congregating in the roadway, that's kind of part of that small town village Main Street
Absolutely.
experience.
Yeah.
Not having the million signs and painted lines, I mean, that's all, so how do you, we can write whatever we wanna write, and just don't know if it solves the problem.
But it goes back to what Dan said, unless you paint the lines,
Right.
it's really hard to enforce it. It is.
But at least if we get everybody knowledgeable on it, by bringing this up again, we might at least encourage some safer parking than we've had lately.
Okay. Yep, agreed.
That's very wishful thinking, because you
Big
think
sign
that
up.
all these people coming to Barnstormers are gonna read this?
I think we put a big sign up at the corner up here,
Park at your own risk.
think before you park.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah. I just, unless we line the street as to where the traveled portion is, I mean, that's the other side of it.
But
You know, I mean, that's-
you're taking away that aspect.
Right, no, I fully agree with you, but I mean, that's the only way you're gonna say, okay, here, our thing says no parking in the traveled portion. We put lines on, that's the traveled portion, you can't park there. You can park anywhere else you want, but not there. That would give you at least something to go, they're there. But again, how much of it is foreign people and how much is it is local people?
Rich, you got anything?
It's always a problem here in the village.
Oh, yeah.
It is. It's just that
It's very congested.
it
It's
is,
always a
and
problem.
it's really busy, and it's locals and it is people that come to town, and it always has been. And it's getting worse.
That's where we're running
It
into
is.
problems. It's nice to say we wanna be able to keep our quaint little thing, but we're getting to the point where it's almost getting dangerous with the number of people that are milling around and parking however they wanna park. Better to try and do something proactive than
The
get a
only,
call that says somebody's been smacked in the middle of the
Do it
road
quicker.
because somebody was backing up.
yeah, there you go. The only suggestion I would have, and I don't even know how that would go over, is in your case. I understand this village has been this way forever. It's just getting more busy,
Used
it's
to be
gonna get
dirt.
worse. There is no solution, no matter what we write, what we do, there is no solution. My main concern is snow removal. That's the problem. Most towns, I don't care how rural you are, will have a snow ban. And I know it's written in here that during the hours of nighttime, but it just don't snow during the nighttime. It snows during the day where you have to remove snow. So how would we address a snow ban parking? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I don't know how that even would go over. If you say, you know, maybe you put up a sign that says snow ban parking in effect so that you can remove the snow if it's a 24-hour storm. I don't know how you would want to address that.
We haven't had a lot of trouble with that,
No.
as far as the snow removal there. We really haven't.
Because I guess you can always come back at nighttime when the
Well, that's
ban
what we
is
do. We
on.
keep it open, then when everybody's gone, we clean it all up
Okay.
before morning. As far as that, I haven't had any problem with it. And the people are pretty good about that. They really are.
Well, and there's a lot less people around when it snows. too.
But they're pretty good.
Yeah.
They are.
I think
There's a
you would
rule.
just put like no overnight parking on Main Street, you know, or.
Well, I think we have that.
It is
Right.
there. And
Yeah.
they're usually pretty good, like the people over here. What they do is they'll put it in the back parking lot.
Right,
They're
along
pretty good.
with
Well-
Usins and,
Or they'll put them down in the other parking
Yeah.
lot. They're pretty good that way. 99% of the time, you know, as far as that, they're good.
The only thing I have on that is it says on C, if a driver of a car is disabled and in a snow emergency condition shall notify the police department. Well, since we don't have 24-hour, I said also the sheriff's department, so at least somebody knows that you got a disabled vehicle.
Yeah.
and of course, if it's in your way and you're trying to remove snow, you call the wrecker, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to do that very often.
no, and you don't have to. And usually, Dana's been very good about that.
Yeah.
Dan was too, helping out whenever he needed, and the sheriff's department is. They're very good.
Yeah,
You know, if I just call and I say, hey, this is the plate number, and it's on Fowler's Mill Road, and we can't get around it, and they'll try to contact the owner and go from there.
yeah.
They've been very good that way, very supportive.
I mean, it's not like they're doing it intentionally, but.
No, and it doesn't happen very often.
Back up on the top of that page, just the exception on there, requesting the police department for a special permit to allow parking for tradesmen and whatnot. I'm not really sure we've had such requests or need or whatever, but I can tell you we don't have any sort of formal form, so.
Well, we're working on the events thing, so that everybody will be notified if there's an event taking place.
Yes, that's a
But
good
I
idea.
don't think tradesmen or contractors have ever thought, unless they want a special detail to make them safe, that's the
I
only
mean,
thing I
most of
know.
them, I mean, very rarely run into it, you know, and, you know, I know we had some down, you know, by the, post office, and we rerouted them to move off the road, because it was, you know, in the travel portion.
Yeah, but if we don't do it, you're right, we probably should take it out, because it says you're gonna give them a special permit, it's good for 5
Right,
days, so if we don't do it, we should take it out.
Keeping something that we don't actually have a formal
Right.
permit for.
Well, and I mean, the other side is, you got somebody that's doing it, you say, hey,
We just move.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you're in the way, you gotta move.
So do we even need that exception in there?
I would strike it personally.
I would too, because we're not doing
Seems
it.
quite, seems quite detailed, and something that we don't.
Do.
Anything else you guys see?
The only thing I think I had overall on every section, and I've been wanting to discuss, was the fee schedule, the fine schedule, as to whether or not the board is suitable with that fine, or if you're looking at to make changes, then now would be the time to adjust any fines if you want. And the only other suggestion I had is, it says fines payable within 5 days, I would allot for like 10 days. Stretch it, because just business days, holidays, whatever, 10 days seems more suitable. I'm looking to redo our fine schedule so we can apply more of our ordinance regs and hand out those fines that'll actually go to the town and not the state. So, I guess that would be my only, I don't have a suggestion or I don't have a complaint necessarily, but if that's, you know, the board wants to leave it the way it is, then we'll make sure our fine schedules meet whatever the regs are.
Yeah.
But just something to consider. I would change the 5-day period, that's the only thing.
Right, just have it 10 days instead of 5 working days, because then it's, oh, you had a holiday or this or that.
Whatever,
You just
yeah,
Clean
yeah.
it up and it's straight through.
And, cause I mean, it's a pretty sizable fine on the over the weight limit.
It's the
One,
change.
like $500 fine,
Yeah, it
is-
is.
which, you know, be more than happy to write that citation that goes straight to the town, as long as it's in our regs, and it is, so.
So, I mean, that's still fine.
And then also it says additional penalty of $15. Is that $15 every day that they don't pay, or is
Yeah, I
it?
mean, I would spell out that, I mean, and furtherance of that would actually, you know, failure to pay would be, you know, we would then summons them to court.
Right.
Do you have that you can give to Darlene and she can just work that in here?
The,
What you
wording?
just said, yeah.
I don't, I mean, I can figure out something, if you wanna just remind me, give me an email.
Okay.
I just think, because you'll have to do it for each one, because each violation says the.
And everywhere I see 5 days, where I should change it to 10.
Yeah.
If the board's in agreement,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I have another question though. There shall be no standing in public ways hindering the flow of traffic. Now, I don't know how many Saturdays you've gone down through town, but I've gone down through town, and I think either we have to, there's a lot of hindering of traffic.
For like, the people walking for the market and stuff.
Barnstormers during
Oh,
their
well, yeah, I
intermission
know.
and stuff.
Oh, no,
I
no, I
mean,
know
trying to
that,
get
but-
through town, but we've got it here that they can't hinder traffic. There's no fine for it. If we actually, I mean, didn't
It's-
last year we have to put out stuff to say we can't even get fire trucks through the way they were?
Yeah, we've had to mitigate, and we've had, you know, one of the remedies was discussing it with Barnstormers to have an employee there, kind of corral
Yeah, well, it
people.
sort of
and-
went by the wayside last week, I guess.
Yeah,
And now
But
we
that's
have,
an
but
ongoing
we
thing
have,
that's been going on
but,
for,
no, but we have the food truck coming in now too, so you've got even more people standing around in traffic.
In a line.
So I think somehow.
again, I go back to the, you know, because I kind of make this area, this a sort of an exception to some of these things, because it's part of that Main Street
Well, then
experience
you go
that
in
people come
accept
here.
it here, because somebody could come after us on a road thing that says, hey, you're not supposed to allow anybody hindering traffic.
I'm not
so-
saying it shouldn't be, you know, monitored and, you know, dealt with. I don't know if throwing a ticket at everybody that's standing in the roadway and watching, you know, really plays into the whole town experience, so.
When you go and talk to them, you don't go, they got road rage, you can't do that, do you? You just
Yeah.
say,
Can you
hey,
please
come
move
on,
out
you
the road?
guys move out of the road, you're
But
blocking
then it only
traffic.
lasts
Well-
for that one episode, and then the next week you're traveling down through the road and you've got them right back there. So I think, no offense, I think the first is let the, whatever, speak to them, and if it's a continue to,
I can speak to Barnstormers again and just make
well, I don't
sure.
think
But
it's
it's
just
not the same
barnstormers
people.
now.
It's
That's
right,
the
it's a
problem.
different group.
It needs to be,
Announced that
Right.
they're,
And
whatever.
they used to do that, specifically went in and they had to make that announcement. And then at one point, they actually had it roped off so that they would only be in the loop-de-loop.
Yeah.
And-
But it has to be reinforced, and you have to go back to Barnstormers and say, hey, can you
Yeah.
start reminding people?
And it's
Because
like
when
the-
you
but
stop
it's
and
like
you
the
talk to
food
those
trucks.
people, well, we've always done it.
Well, it's like the food trucks though now. We have one, there, I'm sure there are gonna be more coming down, and they get a line that goes out in traffic too. Maybe just suggesting where food trucks park in
It should be
town,
in the back parking lot down here.
but then they're not visible for people to see.
But
That's,
it comes back, a lot of it just comes back to common sense.
it does, but
It,
people
it
won't
really
hear.
does. I mean, they should either be down there or down in the parking lot down there.
I
It's
noticed
just-
the truck that's there tonight blocks your vision
Yeah.
coming out of that,
Agreed.
out of
Yeah.
the road there.
Cause
You
they're
really
parked
can't
by
see.
Remick, they're parked by Remick's.
When you
You
say the
can't-
parking lot down there, is that the dirt parking lot you're
The
talking
town.
about?
No,
Or the
town
town
one.
one in
the
front
one
of
up
the
back
park?
here, like the dirt one up back here, you know, it's just.
And then maybe sending them a letter. We haven't had food trucks, so maybe we need to send them a letter and
Well, we
say,
do have
you're welcome to.
correspondence on food trucks and.
I know, but I say, we haven't had them, this was in effect.
Right, but I
Right.
mean, the issues are boiling because we are getting comments about the food trucks and their patrons wanting to use other people's property and stuff.
Do you want us to send the Barnstormers a letter to remind them about talking to people, or do
Yeah,
you
you
want to
can.
take care
I
of it?
mean, one half dozen the other, and convey them a visit as well.
I think that we as a board should send the Barnstormers, say, once again, we'd like to address, you know, during your intermission of people standing out in the middle of Main Street,
Is that
Please.
answered?
it's definitely a hazard and it needs to be
Yeah.
taken care of, and it's gonna be monitored by the police. How's that?
Then the only other thing, Darlene, is on parking spaces, to take out that within such designated spaces marked by painted lines.
There you go.
The part on weight limits, I think, maybe on the snow patrol one, just, it speaks about the board of selectmen giving permission to vehicles to pass over the road or its designee. I mean, in this case, I might assume that the designee is the road agent, but maybe that should be spelled out, or be the road agent, not the board of selectmen, or.
Where were you talking?
Page
The
six.
exceptions on weight limits.
Weight
I know
limits.
Rich is good about, people, we'll have, if companies
six.
call us, we have them call
Page six.
Richard. Rich is good about reaching out to us,
And
letting,
notified them when I said, hey, I gave this guy permission to go over this.
Yeah, so that
certain
should
time.
be permission by the road agent.
Yeah, not us.
yeah, I just feel like that's more, it doesn't come through the board, it
Exactly.
should go through the road agent.
Now I have a question on public notice. I know you post the roads,
Yeah.
but I don't know that we list them and publish them in the newspaper.
I never have, and I don't think any other town do.
I don't either,
There's
so I'd
no-
like to get rid of that,
Yeah.
because that's what ours
There's a notice that goes
says.
in the newspaper, but the roads are not specifically.
Correct, so it
identified.
should just be something that
notice would be-
says
Yes.
the
Yeah.
class 6, 5, and 6 roads are published when posted, not a list,
Yeah.
because it says a list of them, and we don't list the roads out by name.
All town class 5 and 6 roads.
Did you get that, Darlene?
I did.
You guys good? Anything else?
Yes.
I was all I had for notes.
I had
Again, I
the,
would just urge you to look at the fees, fines, and make, if they're satisfied, then it's great, we'll go by that.
What are you talking
Well,
about, the
if you-
50 and the 100?
Well, there's 500 for the weight limit, which is whatever, I mean, I don't have a problem, 50 and 100 on first and second offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if those are suitable to you guys, I just wanted to make sure that that's what you want, so.
I would wait until we
Yeah,
get
no,
this
I'm not.
done before you change
Oh.
anything, because I would recommend that we, once we tune this up, we send it to council and say, that's good.
Yeah.
It just, one
So
that
you
I
may
had,
say you want more.
yeah, the one that
Some
I
of the
had,
state fees have gone up. and
That's what I was gonna
so,
say, if you've got a guidance of
Not to
what the
mention everything
fees
with the state
are,
fee has a 24% penalty assessment on it, so
but if you've got something that's,
it's $100, fine, it's $124 is
Yeah.
the payment. 24, the penalty
So
assessment.
we don't raise taxes, we just raise fees.
Reggie?
yeah, the one that is, section 201, obstruction and encroachments. And this is really the kind of problem about people pushing snow across the road.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
It's really, I mean, Dana's been really good about helping me, but I think that before next winter, I'm gonna put something in the paper and just letting people know.
Yeah, we've
He's,
have posted on, online in the past,
Yeah.
but we, need to remember to repost the law. And
Yeah,
or the-
there's
or
an
the-
RSA specifically.
Yeah, there
do
is,
it.
but we
Can't do it.
actually should just, if we have it in our road reg, post the road reg, and then, we'll give a warning on first offense, and then, do it again, and we'll.
But see,
you get
that
the-
need-
you
but
get the
see,
full
that
fine.
all
That goes
needs-
to the town.
but that all needs to be changed too, because it doesn't say you'll give a warning first offense on any of these, it
Well,
says
it's
you'll
discretionary,
fine,
it's
so.
discretionary.
Right, somebody gives you a bunch of crap about doing it,
Yeah.
and you kinda go, okay, well,
Yeah,
here's
you
the
know.
ticket. Here's the ticket.
I wouldn't write that. there's a
Yeah, I
warning.
would definitely
Yeah.
not write that you're
It's-
gonna get a warning
It's
first.
just, it's
Well,
very
no,
discretionary.
but
You
the
either
problem
will get
is
a
I would
fine,
take out the
but- or
first
you might have an
offense,
option
because
to let
if
them
he
know
gives
the warning.
somebody
Oh, I
a
didn't
ticket
know,
on the
I'm
first
sorry,
offense
I
and he
cleaned
does
it
it
up,
somebody
and all
else, and
that,
he gives him a
and
warning,
won't
then
do it
somebody
again.
pulls this, it
Well,
says,
we-
wait a minute, we were supposed to find.
We do it all day long.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
the question is
We don't-
$50
we have
a
full
sufficient
discretion over
fine?
the laws.
Well, that's why I say it should be a discretionary at first offense, because.
Well, I would tell you the difference in the language of the state laws that make it discretionary rather than a must is shall and may.
Well, then give her that
So.
wording, because if you find me and you don't find him and I pull this, I'm gonna say, hey, his first offense too, why didn't he get a fine? So I agree, whatever shall or may put in there, you've got shall be $50 for the first offense.
On page 5, section 3.02 exception, look at the very last word. If any, and, it's kind of like the sentence stopped.
Where's this now?
Page
Page
5.
5, section 3.02, exception.
Yeah.
Is it a secret code?
Oh,
But
yeah.
only in accord with all posted restrictions, if any, and,
There's something that's supposed to go on, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I think it's supposed to be if any, period.
no and?
No,
Okay.
You guys got anything else?
There's nothing in here, I thought we should just go to the other. Oh, it was on limitation of hauling. I just thought at the end it says is deemed necessary per road, because each road is different, you put them on and off at different times, so it says, due to spring thaw or other road surfacing or obstruction conditioned as deemed necessary. But that's up to you. You can just leave it as deemed necessary.
well, we also have some roads that are posted 6-ton load limit
Load limit, yeah.
through traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just think that needed. And I wanted to know, do we really have to have 5.05? It says implementation delay, equipment breakdown, snow accumulation of, I guess, I don't understand why we have that there. I didn't know if it went with the RSA or not,
Yeah,
because,
I think it does.
okay.
I think
I
that
didn't get a
was one of
chance
the
to
things
check
you
the
had to
RSA.
explain.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a liability coverage.
Okay.
To say, well, you didn't come out and plow this, and.
Well, we didn't
here's
come
the
out
exception.
because we had equipment breakdown and there was traffic congestion.
Did you want to add writing those, Richard?
Yeah. No, because I think it's pretty, I mean,
You'd have to do it for every road.
you would, and it's pretty much,
Good?
not worried about it. Yeah.
You guys good?
I'm good.
Got anything else?
I'll reach out to Darlene, or
So
if you
you
have
thinking of
questions,
taking the
email me.
$15
I'll email you.
penalty for late payment out
Yes.
Wait a minute, where are you?
on all of the violations and penalties.
What page?
It's on all of them.
Starts on 4 and works its
That
way
on
down.
3,
It's on all
that's
of
on
them,
3.
in the
Oh, yeah, you
violation
did all-
penalty
yeah.
section.
You take out the
Yep, 15,
$15.
yeah, I think I crossed that out already.
And here it says, defined plus court costs.
Yeah, I read that, I probably would reword that,
This-
yeah, in some ways, because it's not, there's no court costs, not a fine, unless you go to court,
Right, and
so,
and if they, but the thing is, I'm just trying to think of the logistics of this. If they don't pay, you take them to court, they're gonna have to pay the court fee anyway. Right?
Essentially, yeah, it should read to the effect of, any conviction violating article may be fined $100. If it's a first offense, this one doesn't have it, but first offense or second offense, failure to pay within the time granted, will result in a summons to appear in court, and costs associated may be applied.
That was what
Yeah.
they were gonna work
Yeah.
out for terminology, then
Yeah.
we'll just move it all the way
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
So, when do we wanna have the revisions ready?
Let's get this retyped and then let's re-look at it again. And then,
2 weeks?
yeah,
So September 5th? I think we have a busy night that night.
The 29th? Are we not
We
meeting
don't
on the
have a meeting on the
29th?
29th.
Okay.
The 5th is our next meeting after the 22nd. We have a busy meeting on the 5th.
We do.
On the 5th of
September.
So, we'll get it done and I'll give it to you if we have time to talk about it.
yeah, it's good. I mean, just get it to us so we can
Yeah.
review it. And then it'll take 2 seconds if anybody has any changes or recommendations
And then it has to go to a public hearing
in a
anyway.
public hearing. Well, I'd like to go to the lawyer before it goes to public
Yeah.
hearing.
But I say it has to go to a public hearing before
Yeah.
it's enacted anyway, so.
Right.
Dana will be in touch.
A
Will you
suggestion
be in
maybe?
touch?
Yeah, and I'll have to look at the state laws that these mimic,
Okay,
anyway.
that'd be great.
Try to just compare on those to make sure that we're in the same range.
Right.
Thank you.
Then I think next spring, maybe we should try some painted lines in the library. I
Just
think
by
do
the
whole-
library,
I just
yeah.
think by the library,
Do the
let's
curve,
just
the
do some
parallels.
big steps and see if people would actually put it out. And prefer like a handicap parking spot, we should try that,
You just
instead of doing
put,
the whole
just put
village.
block line, white line is just,
Box in this, fine.
Yeah,
box.
how does the board feel about that?
I don't have a problem on a trial
I don't
basis.
know, see what, how fur flies.
Okay.
And then you can say, well, you got a choice, you either like that one or like it throughout town.
But if you're gonna do it there, then you gotta do it everywhere.
No,
What if you
No, I
did
don't-
like,
I
what
don't
if you
agree
did
with
like, you know, decorative imprinted pavement, you know?
He doesn't wanna put down a
I
brick
know,
thing and
but I'm
spray
just-
painted, I mean,
In the cost of it,
That's
Yeah,
more
I
money.
think
it's expensive.
yeah. I think
Let's think about that.
Okay, just a suggestion.
Thank you.
just- Okay.
Alrighty, everybody good?
I mean, I-
So just remember, you need to put it in your budget if you wanna do it this way.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I'm gonna get some gloss paint.
Yeah.
Throw
Thanks,
a little
guys.
Okay,
sparkle in it.
have a good night, thank you.
Thanks.
Pilots?
You get any letters back?
Actually, I haven't gotten any letters back, but I've gotten 3 or 4 phone calls.
Good.
So my question to you is, do you wanna meet with these people as a whole?
could you give us a list of who you sent out to? I mean, we know the ones we've got pilots with.
I sent
'cause
to everybody, including the people with pilots.
But what
So
I'm
that
saying,
original list that you have, the spreadsheet that you have, everybody got one.
but the Chicago Library wasn't on there, and I got asked the other day why they were getting a notice about a pilot.
Well, because they're not,
That's why I said,
Profit,
can we
and
have a
that's-
list of the
you
people that
have the
you,
list.
We had the list.
that you
have the
sent
list.
out
This-
to us?
this-
No, no. Oh, I
That's
didn't
it.
see that, I'm
Well,
sorry.
you've got that a couple meetings ago.
All right.
That's who I sent it out
Maybe it
to,
wasn't here.
everybody on there.
Okay.
Or maybe, yeah, because we went over that.
Yeah, we
We went over, you were here,
Yeah.
weren't you?
Yes, yeah, because you asked me to put how much tax we're not getting, so
Yeah,
I
because it
updated
was
the
what,
spreadsheet.
12, how many millions was it?
12,666,000.
So I've gotten responses from 2 or 3.
Yeah,
And what are the responses?
Well, they wanna know exactly what you're looking for, besides just the, mission statement. So I would suggest that we have them come in all at the same time, and unless you wanna meet with them one at a time, but so far, everyone said they would come in and meet with you.
I think it'd be an advantage
people
to
that
have
I've
them all in
talked
the
to.
room together at the same time. You know, I mean, why repeat ourselves
Right.
25
You
times?
know, I'm not saying everyone's
And-
gonna come, but the
No.
4 or 5, let's set up a meeting, I'll send out another notice and, please come in.
You know, I mean,
I don't know
See
that it
what
has to be done
happens.
tomorrow, because we should wait to hear from more people,
right.
but,
I did hear from one person, made a comment, and said, you know, that they didn't really know what they could do. I says, well,
and that's what's gonna happen, and
right,
that's fine.
but they need to understand the services that are provided,
Okay.
you know, that we provide for them, so.
But we're also supposed to have a copy of their mission statement on
Right,
file,
well, that-
so
that we
that's
need-
what
that
I
we
need.
need
Hopefully
anyway.
peop- right, I'm
That
gonna
we
get
need
So
that
you know,
anyway.
what could be done is, we're gonna have a work session, we would like you to attend because you could ask the selectmen questions, the selectmen wanna ask you questions, and bring along your mission statement with you.
They should be sending in the mission statement.
They
I
should
would-
be.
I
Yeah,
would-
well, if
I
they're
would-
doing it
Right,
already.
because I asked for
I
it.
would say then you
Right.
send a reminder letter out saying we're having a public meeting and
If you haven't submitted your
If
mission
you haven't
statement,
submitted
haven't brought
yours.
it in, please
Right.
submit it.
or bring it with you to the
You
meeting.
know, the second reminder form.
Good?
See what happens.
When did the letters go out to?
Maybe 2 weeks
I was
ago.
gonna say, I thought it was 2 weeks ago,
It's in here.
is what somebody had on their date.
It was like right when I got back from vacation.
Yeah, because
So-
I can tell you exactly, because I got the date on the one that I got questioned on.
Have we, so you said we haven't got any, just people have called in,
Right, I have not received any mission statements.
okay.
I mean, the churches don't have one. So, you know,
Well, they don't.
Churches are supposed to have a mission
supposed to have a
I
statement.
was told they didn't, so we'll see, but
They're a
I've only talked to
501(c)(3) they
one.
are, when they're
Well, they ought to
religious or
make
not.
one.
they ought to make one, right,
Should be easy, a couple lines.
yeah. So,
Good?
so do you wanna set up a date now, or do you wanna wait a week
Yeah,
or
what
two?
do
I
we
mean,
got
we
for
can
a
bring
work
it up
session in
again.
September?
Well,
September might be a little early.
yeah.
Well, we're
October?
gonna be in budget season by October,
I
so
know. Mm,
better earlier than not early.
Where's my?
Well, if we look for the end of September, that should be plenty of time. What do we, okay.
We have a meeting on the 5th, a meeting on the 19th.
26,
You're gonna do a work session that night?
yes.
25th,
26.
36.
26th.
6 o'clock?
I'm sure we can have
5 o'clock?
5.
5 o'clock.
But even if we work for an hour beforehand, because I'm sure we'll have other things to work on and have the people come in at 6.
Sounds good.
Fifth was the regular meeting, right?
No, regular meeting's the 5th and the 19th.
Right.
Yeah, the fifth regular meeting.
What's that?
I was just putting down that it was a regular meeting.
Yeah, the 5th.
And the 19th is a regular meeting.
Good on that?
So you didn't want to go over the pilots individually, did you have? I know 2 of them are coming up next year, we're gonna have to redo.
And we just renegotiated,
Yeah,
the housing one.
yes,
And
yeah.
the other 2 don't run out for
Next
2
year.
years. No,
We have
one's
2 for
23,
220.
wasn't it?
There were 2 and 220.
2
2
and
and 220 and 2
Mhm.
and 222 or 23.
So when in 220 is a rental?
Usually March 31st. That's the tax year. So
We got time.
we should, well,
You better see what it's actually, because we've already
We
pre-negotiated.
get them when they're feeling good, and I don't know what time of year that is.
Oh, but we have a better idea after we get our new tax
you do
rate,
it January and February.
to see how close or how far off they are.
Good?
Okay, so work session.
Well,
Oh,
Send that reminder. Okay.
I looked for it today.
Job descriptions. Everybody had a chance to go review them?
Yep,
yeah, I went through them.
I only printed off the one that was suggestion for the others.
The one I was most interested was the job description for the police department.
Okay.
It seemed to be the job description. It was filed out. The last page says submit your, please submit your applications with cover for the town of Tamworth. So
Oh, did I send you the wrong one?
maybe we ought to have a different one. I just printed
I might
this
have sent you the
afternoon.
wrong one.
So,
Well, that was my thing, even with Parkers, I think we need to use the
They all
same
need, they
format.
all need to be the same, for
The
sure.
same
they do.
format.
Yeah.
That was the first.
So, this is the format that I
No.
care for. You
Well,
like
this is
that
the
one?
format, yeah, because it gives their
Okay.
step and grades.
I have,
Oh, I don't know that we even use step and grade, so.
I have,
Well, but at least it gives you an idea what they're,
Mhm.
I have 3 different ones.
I
what?
didn't print them all out, because I got tired of printing. But we need to pick a format, that's for certain.
Yep.
Personally, I like the highway department's format the best.
That's the same as the original transfer, and transfer station is the same
Yeah.
format.
No, I actually like his format. I like the wording in it about what he's responsible for. I think it should be consistent across the board and, you know, he's, for supervisors, under supervision and that, it's consistent across the board. You know, take out truck driver and put,
Oh, I see what you mean, so these,
I think each
Job
one of them
summary,
sort of need to
supervise.
have the same type of flow. His
Yep.
reads really well,
Okay.
except that for police, it will be sergeant and patrolman. For transfer, it will be transfer attendants. For rec, it would be summer
mhm,
help.
okay,
So we don't have, because I got tired of scratching after a while.
so change format.
And the only other thing that's consistent through all of them is make sure nothing says that they're gonna lift up to 75 pounds, that it's 50 pounds.
It's 50 pounds.
I know, I saw that, 80 pounds. It's like, because what I saw through here also is, like, that's why I like the road agent. Because his deals with getting bids and keeping budget, and the transfer station didn't, and I think we need that kind of, I'll see if I can find the paragraph that sort of read the same all throughout. Number 10, page 10 on the,
Develop and administers department budget annual work plan.
yeah,
Yeah.
long-term
So-
plans, department policies and procedure reviewed and then approved.
Add to,
I think all that from 7 down, you could probably add to every single job description.
Okay.
6 down, because it says maintain reports.
Six down.
Did you read the work environment for the rec department?
Add to-
The employee is regularly exposed to outdoor weather conditions and blood-borne pathogens
Yeah,
or other diseases.
yeah, that should be put on every single one of them. Because any one of them can run into a scrape, cut, burn.
Yeah, the employee may be exposed to some mental stress due to the need for attention to deadlines. Should that be on all of them?
Well, it could be, but
On the
That one
work
needs to- that one
environment
needs
for
cleaned up
the
a little.
rec
Oh, okay.
department.
No, that was supposed to be due to the need to attend meetings. EOS meetings.
let me see that.
Well, I mean, the employee may be exposed to some mental stress due to the need for the attention to deadlines, the scope of the responsibilities, and exposure to the public.
Is this the latest one he put out? No.
When I printed off tonight.
This is,
Is there another one
Is that the one
Yeah,
you got?
That's not the one
this is the
that,
one that,
that I printed off that you sent?
Says 80 pounds.
no,
yeah,
Yeah.
this one has 80 pounds in it.
yeah, but this is not the one he submitted that we asked him to, because his said must be computer literate, and this doesn't say computer literate. I'll go back and look, I don't think that's the one he,
Tools and equipment
Yeah,
used,
this is
computers, hand tools, shovels, rakes.
I just, what I did was reformat it. You asked me to reformat it because his had really big writing.
Oh, up here, yeah, and I thought that these should be in the qualifications. Knowledge and knowledge of applicable state, federal, and local laws, rules, and regulations. Should have strong computer skills.
So it
Must
is
have
still there.
strong leadership qualities. I would have thought those had been
These should be
in
under
the
qualifications.
desired minimum qualifications. Because those are a qualification versus a job description,
A
what you
duty.
do.
Okay.
the other thing, especially on the, I've got it, I'll hand you this, but on, the transfer station manager, I want that whole, I even hate to say this on camera, but performs routine work of a semi-skilled nature. That needs to be taken out of there.
I'm sorry, so what was it?
The first line says performs routine work
Okay.
on a semi-skilled nature. We need to clean up what his job summary is. And then I would ask, I know he said he didn't want any change, he was okay with it. But I would ask Glenn if he educates school children in the importance of recycling, because I don't know if he goes to the school and does that, or if he does it if they happen to truffle through the dump, the transfer station.
Well, I think when they're there, he tells them.
And he does have.
I don't see
supervisors.
Glenn in the school system.
I don't either, that's why I think it should come out of there.
You're right, he does supervise.
Right, because he didn't, this was written back in 2006.
He does educate them, but not in the school.
Yes,
Because they
he definitely does an education.
They have had people in there and he explains to them that, if you leave the caps on, we can't crush them, that type of thing.
Well, this is
So
specific to
just say,
school children,
just say
though.
educates children. Take
I
out
would
the word
say
school.
educates people, individuals, on the
Yeah.
importance of
Right.
proper recycling.
Thank you. Doesn't need to be children.
Educates the public.
Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah. And
There's a lot of cleanup before we go back through it again.
And one of the other things in the essential duties and responsibilities on the rec, just so you get the right, the third dot down.
Prepares, presents, and administers.
Right, and then it says set fees and charges for programs and facilities.
Right.
I think that ought to be the responsibility of the Board of Selectmen, maybe with a recommendation from the rec director, but I think we should be setting the fees.
We always have.
Well, here it says he does.
It says it's his job.
Set fees with recommendation.
Recommends fees and
Right.
charges, maybe.
Okay.
Can you give her this so she knows that we have to put into every job description? This group, about keeping information, maintaining records, reports?
Oh, I
You
marked
have
that
it?
on
You
one
marked it?
line.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And every time you read them, you come up with something
The
good.
police, someone has an associate degree? What did you guys come in for money? The college, because it's still an associate degree, was that what it was for?
Mhm. No. It was, it's supposed to be changed to a bachelor's
Well,
degree.
that's what I thought, but the police is supposed to be changed to a bachelor's. It says associate's degree, but I thought it was supposed to go to bachelor's.
Well, I need to get him the correct one then.
Well, yeah, I mean, this one
Because we gave a waiver to that, with
Swore
the
that's-
exception is because he has 3 years, so we're gonna pay for his 4th year. So he'd get the bachelor's degree.
isn't. I didn't print the fire.
I gave up on the fire because I
Willie.
figured that has to go to the fireworks anyway.
Yeah, why are we doing the fires anyway?
Well, with suggestions or
employee.
questions,
Yeah.
but
Huh?
he is a
He's
town employee.
Do you want it?
So,
I have it, do you want it?
I read through it and I didn't have any great markups on it.
Another one on the rec department, it says that it hires and trains and supervises.
Doesn't hire,
Right, that
So-
should be,
That shouldn't be in there, the hires.
recommends for. employee.
Well,
All
and
right, and that should be through every job
Right, through every
description.
one of them.
And the fire, he should go through the fire wards.
But we can make recommendations to the fire wards if we have any questions or concerns about it, but we
After it
can't
comes from the
change it.
fire wards to us. But I'm still,
He's a town employee.
yeah, well, we got a lot of town employees. Well, what about the library? They're town employees, but you don't do anything with their job description because they have a board that they fall in front of. The same with the fire wards.
It is.
They supervise that employee.
But I'm saying if we have any questions in the job descriptions, we would hand it back to the fire wards and let them address.
Correct.
The problem comes
Because
is,
when they get sued, we get sued.
The library gets sued, we get sued.
well, we could get a copy of hers too and look at it, and they can give it back to their board of trustees if we have any questions, so I agree. Darlene should get a copy of that one as well, because they are,
1, 2, 3, 4.
could you get a copy of the librarians? Because if we have any questions there, we can send it back to their board as well for looking at.
For hire.
But that should be throughout all job descriptions, because the selectmen are the hiring and firing authorities.
Well, I mean, if we want to drop the library and the fire department and hope things are good, we can do that, because we can't hire and fire there.
No, because they've got,
They've got it on board. So I think that,
Well, I don't know whether the fire wards is the same as the library trustees, because they're trustees, and I think it's a little different, but.
fire wards are elected officials.
the RSA states the fire wards can hire and fire a chief.
Then we don't wanna look at this thing, and we'll just. hope
Well, I
things
think we
good.
can look at it, and if we have any concerns, send it back to the fire wards. They can either address it or not address it. Same with the librarian. I mean, if they've got her.
Peggy, don't we think we have enough to do? Why are we stepping in other people's lane?
Well, because it
Let's stick to
ultimately
our
comes
lane.
back to the town, you're correct.
So I will get these changes.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is
and then
draft
we'll work
number
on-
1,
Yeah,
and I'm sure we'll be at draft number 3 before,
I
right.
really would like to see all of these say draft on them,
yes.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
because, you know, I mean, it's,
Well,
this
I'm gonna
says
keep those- I'm
revised,
gonna keep those as,
this one says revised
Is-
7,
right, that's when we gave it,
19.
that's when I gave it to you.
right, but I mean, it's not revised, it's a draft.
The draft, right.
And if somebody picked this up and says, oh, well, this was revised on such and such a date, then we're
Right.
in trouble.
It's draft number 1.
You
Got
can
it.
give that to her if she wants to use anything like that, but we said to use Richard's, so we should be good.
Oh, my work cut for me.
Anything else that we need to,
Yes, I got notification yesterday. Why Tamworth didn't get it, I have no idea, because Moultonborough and Eaton and Allsby and Conway and everybody, but somebody shared it with me. There's a meeting, I will get it out to you, I believe it's August 28th. I hope it's not the no, it might be the 27th, because I may have 3 meetings. I'll get it out to you, I'll send it to Darlene. That they're going to hold a forum.
Who's they?
Reed and, who's doing the bridge? Reed and something. with DOT and the towns and Pizza Barn and all this, because they're looking at what weekend will be a good weekend possibly to close Route 16 from 6 p.m. on a Friday night until 6 a.m. on a Tuesday morning.
Jesus.
So they can move the bridge. So they can move the bridge.
You
So they
guys didn't plan this very well, did you?
Well, they're talking to people because they want that time frame. They've got the businesses, they've got Conway because how they're gonna reroute. So they're holding the public forum to get people's input before they decide how they're gonna do it. I will get it
And
to
this
you.
was
It
from
came
the
in-
DOT?
It came in from Reed and Reed
Oh,
to the
Reed and
people
Reed, okay.
that they were involved in. And I said, everybody sort of around us got it, but like they sent it to Moultonborough, which I'm not sure why, but.
Maybe they meant Tamworth.
No, so I'll send it for it, but it's either the 28th at 10 to 12 or 27th. I almost want to say it's the 27th because I think that adds the 38th.
Do you know where?
No, it's up here.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
I want to say TriCap, but I don't think it is. But I'll send it to you tomorrow, Darlene. You
Okay,
can
I'll send it out.
But just to be aware, so that
Somebody
maybe
should go to the meeting.
fire chief.
And maybe they got, maybe the fire chief got it. or the
No,
police
it's
did,
not
I
on
don't
the.
know.
I read the entire
Okay,
list. It's this big and by this big
I'm
of
sure,
everybody
yeah.
that got it. To see
Oh.
if it came to you.
Wow, there's a lot of questions to be asked at that thing.
and what was
Is
it?
it still gonna be, is it closed, but is it gonna be passable? I
No,
mean, is it-
they are
is it-
shutting it down to move one bridge out and move the other bridge in.
And what was the
And
date
it
for that
takes
closing?
3 days to do that?
They haven't picked the
Oh, they
date
haven't
yet.
picked them.
Oh, it's just gonna take a day, not
No,
they're
no,
gonna-
no. They want to close from 6 p.m. on Friday night
Over a
to
weekend, no less?
6 a.m. on a
Let's do a Columbus
Tuesday.
Day weekend.
Oh,
That'd be great.
Because
Yeah.
they literally have to tear that Bear Camp Relief Bridge out and move the other one over before they can, because that one doesn't have a bypass on it.
Wow, I mean, they should have
And they
all
sent it to
kinds
Governor
of-
Wentworth and stuff like that because it'll affect bus traffic and. So that's why they're holding the open thing to see what.
They're gonna get all those
Yeah,
people
but
there
they
trying to
should
make a
have,
decision.
I mean, it should have went to fire, it should have went to police, it
Right.
should have went to ambulance. I mean, that's,
It did in a lot of towns,
They just left us
like
out.
Wakefield and Madison
Wow.
and all these, because depending on how they're gonna reroute for the traffic. But I thought maybe we might want to too, because we respond as mutual aid to other places, so I will send it to Darlene, she can send it out to whomever. It just says they were holding an open forum for input.
I think the sign is, what are you thinking?
Well, they gotta shut it down somehow, because you can't move one bridge without
Yeah, but I
taking
mean,
one
what were-
out.
What were you thinking, I guess, is my comment. And were ambulance contracts on?
The 27th at Madison Town Hall, where we're also going to be doing the oversight group to address concerns like appeared today, that they're gonna try and do that. If anybody's interested, the broadband committee is going up to Conway on the 27th at 4 o'clock to meet with the Conway Selectmen. And we have a CIP meeting at 6 o'clock that night, so I was hoping maybe if I don't make it back from the Selectmen's meeting, you might take on the CIP.
Okay. And I did get a note from Jack, and I meant to print it, and I didn't. It was showing what we've got in the queue. And I think everything is in there that's supposed to be in there.
Yeah. I didn't get that one, I only got the notice. I'll have to that. I got the fire, everything the fire department had in there.
when is the
so-
fireworks meeting?
They're meeting,
First Thursday.
September 5th, when we're gonna be busy.
So you need to get out of here early.
Yeah, but as long as you got a quorum.
We have a couple appointments, and your commissioners are coming, not your commissioners, Carroll County Commissioners.
Yeah, but they're coming early.
They're coming at
5:30.
5:30.
Yeah, you
Are
need
they
to be
gonna
there by
be
what time?
7:30.
7:30. Are they gonna be just a half an hour? Is that what your plan was?
It's
To go-
not my plan, it
Well,
was their asking to
I'm
come
sorry,
up
but
and.
I know you
if
were
we-
facilitating
if
it,
we
so I-
had-
Yes,
if we had
half
no-
hour.
Okay,
If we have no questions, they won't even stay a half an hour.
okay,
That's
perfect.
on the 5th.
Yes,
Okay. So I'm gonna open the meeting up at the 5:30,
because they're just
and we
making,
can just continue.
they're
We
just
don't have to
making
wait
the
till
rounds
6 to
again.
do anything. Okay.
There was something else that just came out that was wide, and I can't think of what it
Are we
was.
in Madison?
When are you?
We're in Madison at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
They didn't increase the time, so I guess we're gonna do that and then do the bids.
When did you say CIP was meeting?
Tuesday the 27th.
All right, then I have stuff for, talk to Willie about 22nd.
Honey?
No, well, maybe.
Oh, and there's going to be a forum, that's what it was, there's gonna be a forum if anybody's interested on preventing childhood lead poisoning from paint, water, and what does it do? The new law that was signed into bill last year and how providers, property owners, parents, and child care, school officials have to deal with the new lower lead levels that are acceptable.
I just put that in the read file, just like 2 seconds of.
So if
before the
anybody
meeting.
wants to go, that
Yeah.
meeting is taking place too. That's it for me. It's enough.
Willie,
Oh, we're doing this tonight?
I
Work
didn't know.
session, it's a work session.
I know, I'm just
Maybe
wondering
she's
what's
up
going
on
on,
it.
just asking any questions.
It's got- The only thing that I can think of is this comment we got here that came in on the food trucks and them wanting to use other businesses for bathroom and for people standing on their porch and stuff like that.
Using their tables.
Using their tables.
I know we don't have more paper, but we really should get notified, because we wouldn't even have known about this truck if he hadn't contacted the fire department to.
Right.
Were you talking food truck?
Yeah.
It's been all over the exchange.
No, we as
Yeah.
a
We need
town
event
would
policy.
not,
We
we
need to
had,
work, get that.
huh?
Do you
We
have
need to
one?
get that. Well, I just have Wolfborough's that I haven't gotten.
Can you send it out or
Yeah.
that we can review it?
Yeah.
Willie, who's that from?
That's from Art and the Age, but it's about the food truck down here. And I don't know, maybe they've been here for a while doing stuff. The only time I knew they
Well,
were
they've
around was
only-
during
Was
the
at the
event.
street fair.
No.
They started at the
Then-
street fair,
Right.
right, because
But
they
they're
got
over here
approved.
tonight.
No, they started showing up around town at the street
Right.
fair, because Rich inspected them a couple weeks before
Yeah.
that.
I mean, they're over by the thing tonight. I don't know if they're there every
Well, and
night.
that's
I've never
why-
seen them there.
We may have to
But I'm not
address
here
food
that
trucks,
late.
because just like.
I guess Sunday night they
She's-
were in front of the library.
Cheese Louise could come down and stuff. You don't want to hinder their work, but I think we need to sort of let them know, or they need to let the town know too when they're coming in. Designated area
Is there
which food
anything in
trucks
that
can go
event
to.
policy about
Yeah.
food trucks?
I don't remember. I was gonna work on it with Dana, but he's been away and I was away before that, so we haven't connected about that.
Yeah, I can see this as a definite.
Well, it's just gonna get,
Yeah, it's gonna get worse.
get worse, it's not gonna get better.
So we need to definitely address this.
Okay.
And what can we do?
We can definitely send the food trucks a letter saying that,
We don't even know who owned it. Oh, wait,
Yeah, we
well,
do.
Richard, I mean,
Rich
Richard probably
does.
knows, I don't know, but,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
But I
well,
think
we
we
could
have
ask
to,
them to come to a meeting and we can sit down and,
Say, these are the issues, how you.
these are the
address it.
issues and,
but I also think that because this is going to become a new trend, that the town probably should have a policy somewhere we're working on.
Let me
That
see what,
all food trucks are,
let me see what
but see,
the policy
if
has.
we look at this, the complaint, it's not the food truck.
No,
It's the individuals that are using the food truck who are taking advantage of, oh, well, I'm gonna buy
Go
food
sit
over
on
here,
it.
then let me go over here and sit. I mean, that's, to me, that's just not proper etiquette.
Right.
I'm gonna take somebody else's food that I just purchased and I'm gonna go sit on the Lyceum's deck and eat the food and then leave my plate there and walk away.
oh, I agree.
And then, oh, by the
I agree
way, I
sending
gotta go to the
them-
bathroom, so let me go in here
I
and go to
agree
the bathroom.
sending them a letter, but that would be, but I agree, where are you gonna tell them to park? And you're, cause,
But I mean, when they serve the food, when the person could say, okay, you can't leave this area, you gotta eat in this area, we don't want you going over there and sitting on the park bench, or, I guess the library didn't have an issue with them sitting on their picnic table, from what I read in the exchange.
Right.
I had no idea.
So they actually encourage it, but I can see a local business, I encourage, you know, if I was an owner of a business in town, I would encourage, you know, I wouldn't be upset if somebody else came in and was serving food.
Right.
But I sure would be upset if you came over to, you
Use
bought your
my
food
restaurant.
there, and then came over to my place and sat and ate, messed up my table, and then went to my bathroom.
but I think we also need to inform them where they should and should not park, because as Willie said, they're
We
blocking.
can talk about that, but the
Well,
other issue
no,
is the
address this one
patrons.
immediately.
Yeah, yeah.
But I say, through it, we're gonna have to probably develop some sort Just like inspections. Rich didn't know that he found the things. It's the first food truck he's ever had to inspect.
Yeah, no, I can see about the parking, but when does it become their responsibility to tell people?
Oh, I think immediately.
Well, I mean,
It tells
a
them
letter
it's
from the
immediately-
board, from the board to the owners of that food truck,
Yep,
just to inform your patrons that they cannot go to a public, a private facility to use their,
Well,
something
again,
along those
They
lines.
ha-
we-
but again, they
are-
buy it and they have no control after the person walks
Yeah,
away and
what
leaves.
business does?
we can't,
Well, I mean, it would just be nice to say. I don't know.
What, it doesn't make, I mean, it's a common sense thing.
Well, I get
And I
that,
would think that the local businesses would be posting something saying,
Well, that's
for
where I.
patrons
Well,
only.
then-
Right, well, and I
we don't need a
know
letter to them then.
at the
food
street
truck.
fair, there was a food service vehicle that was in the parking lot that sucked up a ton of the parking spaces, fired up the wood smoke that filled the townhouse. You know, I mean, that wasn't the appropriate place for it. You know, we had to shut doors, windows, and fans to get the smoke out of the building before the fire alarm went off,
I
you
mean,
know?
To the food trucks, I think we can say you must park in somewhere where you don't obstruct operating
flow,
businesses
yes.
and traffic flow.
Perfect.
yeah, some,
To the patrons that are concerned that they're using their stuff, once they leave there, they have no
I
control
know, I
over
get
that.
that, but
Maybe
it-
they say,
you
maybe
know-
you should post your property that it's for patrons only.
yeah, which stinks, but.
I
I
know.
know, it's horrible. You would think people, but you know,
Because once they leave their truck, they don't know what they're doing. They can't run down the street and say, oh my God, they're sitting in
can't
front
see
of
Yeah,
it.
no, but it was just an offhanded comment.
No, but I say, I think we need to address the patrons and
of
say,
their parking and not in, what's
use
the word
of
I'm
their
looking?
facilities for
There-
patrons only.
There's the nice Remick Park that they can sit in.
Yeah.
And we're not putting trash barrels out,
No,
No.
cause that just becomes a
Oh, yeah,
collection
then
point
no.
for excess stuff.
No kidding.
Well, I'm hoping that the food truck has, when it shows up, has trash barrels.
it has to.
Okay.
Well, if they go somewhere else to eat it.
Well,
So,
that's the thing.
Besides the you just talking to the Lyceum, send them a note to
No,
to
I'm
we're
post
not
not.
it or
sending
not
them
bother?
anything.
Nothing, okay,
We're sending the food truck
yeah.
a letter saying that
It's been
the
a
board is
concern.
concerned, so you need to come to the board and we discuss
Oh, you want
where
to-
you're gonna park, because we don't want you interfering with the flow of traffic or interfering with the patrons of other businesses being able to get to their business. Or
And-
something word like that.
Right, and we received a
Just invite 'em
complaint
to a
that they're
selectmen's
infringing on other
Yeah, I
people's
will.
businesses.
Yeah,
That's all she has to do, just
Well,
invite
right.
them to a select.
Yeah, then we'll sit down and talk to them.
Yeah, I would
He wants to.
put that back and read now.
alright, I've got
Alrighty.
something. And I think you're gonna take over after the fact, because, a gentleman just came in to rent the townhouse
Mhm.
for an event. Dropped me the paperwork and then said Melanie was gonna take over.
He contacted me about a week ago. They were looking for a place to have a baby shower. And Union Hall wasn't available, Runnels Hall wasn't available. And I had sent him all the information, and he wanted to know where he could drop the form off, and I said, Darlene, because I wasn't gonna be around. The question was, what would the charge be? Do they need insurance
It's in
to have
policy.
a baby shower there? They have all the information. It's from,
What is
it's
their
on
policy?
Saturday.
It's in the policy.
What does their
It's
policy
from
say?
about
Yeah.
3:30 to 5:30, 2 hours. And there will be about 40 people.
And what's our policy say? What was the paperwork he got handed?
I don't know what
He got
handed,
the policy,
and I don't know.
the
I didn't
updated
know what his
policy.
question, he wanted to know how much it was gonna cost, that's all.
Which is $50.
Yep. And they have to have an insurance policy,
Yeah.
That's what the policy says.
okay?
You can call his
mean,
insurance
it's-
company
yeah.
and get it. If he burns the place down, we need some sort of backup.
Right.
It's not like
And
it's
it's
a.
an event policy for them, that's all he has to ask for,
Yes.
his insurance company.
Yeah,
Which isn't very expensive.
no. Not a rec program, it's not a
No?
Town function program, it's
a
somebody's
private
private
event.
use.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
we're
want me
not
to
a
call him or you?
nonprofit, that's for
It's
sure,
up to you.
so.
I'll call him.
Okay.
So I do have a question though. Do we have a lot of these? Because we don't have anything here about the rental policy, I mean, the rental forms or.
There's a policy.
No, I have the policy, but I don't have, we don't have a copy of the
We-
forms. I don't know if we haven't collected any money.
Is it online?
Don't you collect it from Joan?
I got Joan, that's all I have, but she's a rec program. What
Right.
about you guys? The Friends of the
They don't
Townhouse, have you been
collect anything.
renting?
We don't
Anything?
know.
I was just curious,
No.
I didn't,
And
it
if
came
there's
in.
any,
Well,
the-
they can't, it comes before the board.
right,
Okay.
just like the yoga
Okay.
that we asked
It
about,
comes before
that
the
money
board,
will
so
come
that
to
money,
you with the
that's our
form.
responsibility
No,
to
I-
collect, so.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how,
So you
because I
don't
know I
have
got a
this-
few things from Barbara when she was a bit around, but I haven't
And
seen
those were the
anything.
only ones that were paying,
Okay.
but now the rest have been rec, and
Yeah.
the yoga will start
Little
paying,
yoga,
and
yeah.
Joan. And, I mean, the other ones have been the History Center,
So they don't pay.
no, the foundation was gonna use it, but then they changed.
And then the farmer's market
The farmer's market is gonna start back up in the
in
fall.
the fall, yeah, okay.
But they pay.
Yeah, they
paid.
pay.
They paid in the past,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I was curious,
Yeah.
because I
So-
hadn't seen anything, so,
On,
but it seems to be busy over there.
on our website,
It's the crafters that keep having their fairs every
on
Well,
the website, is the policy for the use of the townhouse on the website.
I will have to check. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Is this form on there that they can print?
I don't
or
believe it is.
Download and print?
I can
Nope.
send that to you.
I have it.
And
You do?
then,
With the
Maybe
updated-
not. No,
No,
yes,
I
I
don't-
did this for you.
so
No, I
that-
didn't.
That would solve that.
We took Barbara's name off.
No, you took
That was
Barbara's
the
name
other-
off on the policy.
Oh,
I did
not on
this.
this one, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take this.
And we did, one other thing, we did make small signs that says no alcohol on town property. Put them on both bulletin boards.
Yep.
And we also put up, no smoking or vaping or electronic cigarettes or something like that. Because there was somebody that was,
Vaping.
you know, whatever it is.
And
Lovely.
dangerous.
So, we do have new little signs up to hopefully,
Anything else? Good, we're moving on
Go
here.
into non-public.
Can you make a recommendation?
Application.
Need a motion?
Can you make a motion to go into non-public?
recommendation?
I make a motion to go into non-public for RSA 91A:3, section
A.
A.
Second.
Roll call. Poirier says yes.
It's 2A we're going in under?
Both of them are A's, yep.
Mason, yes.
Farnum, yes.
Streeter, yes.
Okay, we came out of non-public, reconvene the meeting. Give me a motion.
A motion
To
to
adjourn.
adjourn?
No, we're
No,
not
we're
gonna,
not.
No,
so don't we need to make a motion that we're not gonna seal the minutes, or is it
No.
only a motion that
No.
we seal the minutes?
right, only if we're sealing.
Okay,
We're on a ceiling.
So what'd you say, Becky?
I made a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
How'd that work out for you?
all in favor?
Good, huh?
Aye.
Aye.